What's going on, guys? I've been thinking, trying to figure out what to really talk about. I guess what's on my mind. Um, the biggest thing is the slow start for businesses, man. I had a message today of a gentleman wanting me to wash his house, and I went out to look at the house, and there was somebody there who I thought might have been the gentleman I was messaging with, and it turns out it was the homeowner. And so I was pretty confused because they had never heard of the name that I was given. And so I was like, well, let me just give the guy a quote and see what happens. So I gave the guy I was messaging a quote, and he approved it, and everything felt normal-ish. I've never done a negotiation like this, but people are busy, technology changes, I'm open to it. So anyway, he accepted the bid and wanted to know when I could get started. I told him when I'd get started, and then he said he'd need to send a letter of authorization to the former homeowner, because I guess maybe they're not moved out or moved in yet or what have you. So anyway, that was a little weird, but I kept rolling with it, and now I just got another message from him saying that he needs help with the letter or something. I have no idea. We'll see what unfolds from that, but anyway, hopefully it's not a scam. I'm certainly not going to be like, well, I'll give you $1,000 if you send me back $200 and you keep the $800. Like, I'm not playing that game, and he's not paying me with Google Play cards or anything like that either. But just learning new things as I go with this business, trying to figure out how to make some money, make a living, so I can quit going to drive this semi. And I think a lot of what drives me to want to be my own boss, I know that there's a lot of headache, there's a lot of hardship, a lot of time that you're not making any money, you're spending money. It's just knowing how I want to be treated as an employee and hoping that I get into a owner position and a position where I can hire people and treat them how I want to be treated. Now, I know right out of the gate, I probably won't be able to do everything for them like I want to. But if everybody understands my goals and, projection for the business, what I want in general for the company, for everybody, hopefully they'll ride out through the rough patch until we're generating enough money to do everything the way I'd like to. The biggest issue I see with the current situation of businesses is the unlimited potential for the owner or for the company to make money. And, they take all the risk, they take the reward, they put their heart and soul into it, they put a bunch of money into it, a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's one thing to say it's easy, but it's not easy because you consider everything you're sacrificing and the time that you'll never get back. It changes your whole outlook. But for people to actually be profitable in business and then have employees that are at least somewhat happy. I'm hoping for happy employees, but people that are willing to show up and give me a solid 80%. That's what I'm looking for. I never expect anybody to give me 100%, 110%, or anything like that. 70 to 80% is ideal. I mean, that would be amazing to get that type of effort out of people, because nobody's going to feel about the business the way that I feel about my business, because it's mine. It's my blood, sweat, and tears. It's my name on the line, my credit on the line, and my ego to some extent, because I don't want to fail. I don't want to be a failure. It's inevitable, I suppose, that you'll fail at things, so I can't be adverse to failing, but I'd like to not. I try and view everything as a way to learn, so whether I win or fail, I learn. But anyway, that's besides the point. For current business structures, it's all about the profits, and it's important to be successful to have profits. But if you budget out everything in a way, in a specific type of way, then I think you can really lead to a prosperous business that the community gets behind, that your employees like and support and want to work for you. And so I thought about it and the preliminary ideas, is giving myself as an owner a cap. Like management has salaries and CEOs and presidents have salaries. Now I know that they do like stock options and other things that kind of still enhances their pay, but if I give myself an owner as a cap, so that way I once reach my threshold, that money then should roll over to other areas, whether it's research and development, more equipment, better equipment, maintenance, whatever the business's needs are. Now I know that you should have a CapEx and you should have a marketing fund, and there are already budgets that should be in place that the money is being allocated to go into and to be utilized. But I don't want it to be like, well, I have my employees out there and they're working in blood, sweat, and tears, maybe hopefully not tears, but blood and sweat's, I would say, inevitable. That they want to keep working for me, because I, in turn, once I hit my cap, and if all of my budgets are met and we're looking good equipment wise and I don't need to do anything like that, then I would want to turn around and start bonusing my employees and showing my appreciation to them that way. And I would like to donate back to the community, whether it's like women and children's shelters, or if there's a school in need and maybe they need new jerseys or football equipment or band equipment or theater lights, or just be able to start giving that back to the community. It's not just me and my business that is successful. It's the community that is successful because they're supporting the business. Without the customers and the people in the community, I obviously wouldn't make any money. So I'd want to be able to give it back. If my employee comes in and has been a hard worker, dedicated employee, and he's kind of having car problems, I'd want to help him fix the car. Or if he's not really sentimental attached to the car, maybe I'll buy him a newer used vehicle so that he can get to work more reliably. Whatever I could do to help out like an all-star employee. And I'd leave it kind of as a group decision. I wouldn't just walk out and say, hey, Joe, you're getting a new truck, and then have everybody else mad about it. I know that I won't be able to please everybody, and this is all very whimsical, idealistic, but I would want it, to the best of my ability, to be a group decision so that everybody feels good about it. They don't all just sit back and are mad that I've done something. I'm hoping to foster a community within our workplace that wants everybody to be successful and to do good. Hopefully I'll be able to pay everybody adequately so that they're happy and they're not mad at one another or whatever, mad at me for not paying enough. I would just, I want them to feel valued. I'm trying to set up a scale and a budget for the business so that it would allow people to have 2 months off. Not necessarily in a row, but should they want to take a week off because it's spring break, or should they want to take a week off and go down and visit family, or go out and visit family, or I'd want them to be able to do that and not feel like the business is going to suffer, and not have them worry about it. If my pay is according and adjusted so that way they know they can work and have 2 months off, I think I would be ecstatic. That would be amazing. I would allow me to do a lot of things and not worry about the consequences of rainy days or cold days or snow days or getting sick. I got COVID, and my boss was just like, all right, well, don't come in, get better. And then within 3 days, he's like, hey, when are you coming in? I'm like, what do you mean, when am I coming? I have COVID. Like, I know it affects everybody differently, but I got a pretty bad case of it. I wasn't in the hospital, so they're more severe. I'm aware my father died, so I get it. But I wasn't in no condition to go to work. And he could tell on the phone that I was in no condition to go to work. And he was just like, well, I'll call tomorrow and find out how you're feeling tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I could magically feel better overnight. I have no idea. But it didn't make me feel appreciated. It was like, when can you come back when we need you here? And I didn't get paid for the time off. I'm not saying like every sniffle you should get paid for or whatever, but understanding the severity of COVID and what it is and what it's meant to the nation. For a while there, it was government mandated that you were paid when you went out on COVID, and then they took that away. But if my employee gets really sick, I don't want him to worry about how am I going to make my bills? How am I going to afford to feed my family? If people abuse it, they'll weed themselves out. It'll be apparent. It'll be evident. And I'll let them go because I don't want to be taken advantage of. I want to be a fair boss and a fair owner, a fair company. You need time off. You need time off. Everybody needs a mental health day. And so I'm hoping that by budgeting the 2 months off, that allows for sick time and vacation time and anything else that comes up. So if they do get COVID or if they do want to go out of town, they don't have to stress. Their bills will be fine. And like I said, I know it's very whimsical and idealistic, but these are some of the things that I have in my heart that I want to do with my business so that I can have people work for me that are passionate about me and my company and want to give back to the community. I'd like to do community service with my business and go around and clean houses that maybe people won't be able to afford ever and do that for them so that they go home and they feel nice about it because it looks good. It feels nice to have a clean house. It feels good and nice to have a clean car. So, it's a big rant and ramble, but that's kind of where my head's at right now. Is just thinking about the business and I want it to be successful, not just because obviously I want to make my own money. I want to get away from the corporate structure or the idiots in the office type of mindset. And I want to have a place that people feel like they're heard and they're listened to and they're valued, and they in turn value my company and my business and want to do right by me. And I know I'll have to weed out some people, but hopefully I can get that culture so that way everybody just does the best they can, a solid 70 to 80%, and then we can all just be happy and successful. And if they want to start their own business like mine, they want to copy mine, go for it. I know how hard it is to start. I know how hard it is to get customers. So, if you think you're going to just walk away from me and be successful, well, you might, but probably not. Statistically, no. But I'd still help them. I'd help them build a trailer. I'd help them get chemicals. I'd help them get old equipment if I had any laying around. I would help people because I wish somebody would have done that for me. If I was working for a guy and was like, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. Some of our values don't align, or some of the things I would do differently. And we've already talked about it, and so I'd like to try it on my own. I'm right there with you, bud, because I've been there. I know what you're saying, so go for it. If you need help, let me know. If you want to talk, let's do it. If you need, anything I can do to help you, let me know, because I would have wanted that for me along the way. So who knows what is really going to come of it. This might just be a naive little vlog that I look back on in a year or two and just laugh because of how silly I sound, but I do hope that I can do a lot of these things that I have in my heart and in my head to make a successful business and to turn kind of this capitalism on its head, so to speak. I will make money, but I'm going to cap it. And then anything over that will go back to the employees, the business, the company, aside from the budgets already set in place. And if that's all satisfied, let's go to the community. Let's go to the schools, women and children's shelters, whatever I can do to give back. That's what I'd like to do. That's what I'm about. So who knows? Let's see if I listen to this in a year or two or watch this in a year or two and I'm just laughing at myself for being so stupid, or if I'm able to hold on to the values and virtues that I want for my business and for myself. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a good day. Take care.